Your brain is currently trapped in a dopamine loop that is physically shrinking your ability to focus. But what happens to your gray matter when you finally cut the cord for 30 days? We are documenting the exact physiological shift as your prefrontal cortex repairs itself, moving from hyperstimulated chaos to absolute baseline clarity. This is the biological transformation of your mind. Before we dive into the science of your recovery, if you find this breakdown helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support allows us to keep creating deep dive content into human biology and performance. Supporting the channel helps us reach more people who are struggling with digital burnout and helps our community grow. Drop a comment below letting us know the longest you've ever gone without social media. We'd love to hear your experience and what you found most difficult. Now, let's look at what happens the moment you finally put the phone down and commit to the reset. The first 72 hours are notoriously the hardest because your brain treats social media like a physical drug. For years, every time you received a notification, a like, or a message, your brain released a tiny, sharp burst of dopamine. This neurotransmitter is responsible for the reward feeling. When you suddenly stop, that supply vanishes, leaving your brain's reward receptors empty and hungry. You will likely feel a sense of restlessness, irritability, and intense boredom. This isn't just a mental habit, it is a literal chemical withdrawal. During this time, your cortisol levels, the body's primary stress hormone, actually begin to spike. Because humans are social creatures, your brain interprets the lack of pings as a threat of social isolation. It creates a state of high alert, making you feel anxious because you subconsciously think you are missing out on vital information or community connection. You'll also experience a strange phenomenon known as phantom vibration syndrome. This is where your brain is so deeply conditioned to the sensation of a buzzing phone that it begins to misinterpret unrelated sensory data. A muscle twitch in your leg, the fabric of your pants shifting, or even a distant sound can be mistaken by your brain as a social media alert. Your neural pathways are so primed for digital stimulation that they are essentially hallucinating these alerts. This is the peak of the hyperstimulated chaos phase, where your mind is screaming for a quick hit of dopamine just to feel a sense of normalcy. Your brain is trying to trick you into picking up the device to resolve the stress it is feeling. Once you pass the first week, the heavy repair work begins in your prefrontal cortex. This is the executive center of your brain, the part responsible for high-level decision-making, logical thinking, and sustained focus. Constant scrolling and context switching, the act of jumping from a meme to a news story to a personal photo in seconds, actually weakens the neural connections in this area. It's like a muscle that has become thin and weak from poor use. As you stop the rapid-fire input, the noise in your brain begins to quiet down. Without the constant interruption of notifications, your brain begins to rebuild its attention span. You'll notice a significant shift in your daily life. You can read a book for an hour, watch a long film, or hold a deep conversation for 30 or 40 minutes without once feeling the subconscious itch to check your pocket. This is the transition from fragmented, shallow attention back to a powerful state known as deep work. Your brain stops looking for external validation, the likes, comments, and shares, and starts engaging in internal thought patterns. For the first time in a long time, you begin to hear your own original thoughts again, rather than just reacting to the thoughts of others. Physiologically, your brain is moving from the reward-seeking mode into the processing mode. You are no longer a passive consumer being controlled by an algorithm. You are becoming an active thinker once again. This period is when the brain fog typically starts to lift, replaced with a sense of calm, steady energy. By the third week, the changes move beyond just how you feel and become visible on a cellular level. Recent neuroimaging data from early 2026 shows that chronic overstimulation actually hinders the hippocampus, the part of your brain that handles memory and learning. When you're constantly bombarded with digital noise, your brain is so busy filtering out useless information that it struggles to move important data from short-term to long-term memory. During this 30-day detox, your hippocampus finally gets the rest it needs. This leads to much better memory encoding and recall.
You will likely find that you remember names, dates, and complex details from your day work or studies much more clearly than you did just 2 weeks prior. You will also notice a dramatic return of vivid dreaming. For years, the high-energy blue light from your screen and the habit of late-night scrolling have suppressed your natural production of melatonin and disrupted your REM sleep cycles. REM sleep is when your brain does its overnight maintenance. Without digital interference, your brain can finally process the day's emotions and organize information during deep sleep. These vivid, memorable dreams are a biological sign that your mental filing cabinet is working again. Your brain is finally clearing out the digital clutter that has been blocking your cognitive flow and emotional health. You wake up feeling more refreshed because your sleep is actually serving its biological purpose. As you enter the final week, your emotional baseline begins to stabilize. Social media platforms are designed to keep us in the comparison trap, where we constantly measure our real lives against the edited highlight reels of others. This creates a constant background noise of performative outrage and social anxiety. When you remove the source of this comparison, your mood stops swinging wildly from high to low. Your reward system undergoes a total recalibration. Suddenly, simple real-world activities, a walk in the park, a meal with family, or a hobby you once enjoyed, begin to provide more genuine satisfaction than 1,000 digital likes ever could. You are finding joy in the physical world again. Your empathy levels and social skills also undergo a major shift. Online interactions are often shallow, fast-paced, and sometimes aggressive because we lose the human element. In the real world, your brain uses thousands of subtle cues, eye contact, tone of voice, and micro-expressions to connect with other people. By the 30-day mark, your brain has moved away from performance and back toward genuine connection. You feel more grounded in your identity, less reactive to small stresses, and more in control of your emotional responses to the world around you. You're no longer easily triggered by digital noise. You are centered in your own reality. By the end of the 30 days, your neural pathways have undergone a massive and measurable shift. Even if you choose to reintroduce social media back into your life, the baseline clarity you established makes it much easier to set healthy boundaries. Your creative output and problem-solving abilities are at an all-time high because your mind is no longer cluttered with the junk food of the internet. You have successfully moved from a state of digital exhaustion to a state of cognitive power. This roadmap isn't just about quitting an app for a month. It's about reclaiming the physical health of your brain and the sovereignty of your mind in an increasingly hyper-connected world.